Well, thank you, Russ. For the 10th time in the history of European club football, an English team lines up alongside the world-famous red and black shirts of AC Milan. On not one of those occasions, not one, has an English team retreated back down the tunnel at the end of the game with a win. Next to try, Leeds United. Tonight, for these Leeds players, a draw will feel like a win, but they're lining up like this in the Nou Camp right now as well, and it may be they don't even need that point. Now, it'll be hard for these players to a certain extent to be seen to do the right thing. A wholehearted performance would have English conspiracy theorists crying foul. A faint-hearted effort would enrage Catalans. They must just play, and boy they can. The pre-match handshake. It is a ritual that points to propriety, fairness, sportsmanship, a real contest, and it is, in point of fact, very hard to look at these players involved here and think that we will get anything other than a real contest. Pitch you can see behind the two teams there is far from good one. David O'Leary described it as the worst he's seen this year. It's never been good in the San Siro. It's an ongoing problem. And remember, it is going to host the final later in the season. Here is the Milan side, which will be subject to so much scrutiny. They certainly can't be accused of suspect selection. Alessandro Costa-Curta is injured. Otherwise, it's as strong as could be, with Leonardo picked to accompany Bierhoff and Shevchenko in attack. And Dida, despite his Ellen Road calamity, restored in goal. No AC Milan team has ever lost at home to English opponents. No Leeds team has ever won in Italy. And this one's chances of doing so are significantly reduced by the injuries to which it's become routine to refer. At least with Jonathan Woodgate now out, Lucas Radebe returns, though neither he nor Mills is entirely fit. There is Zaccaroni, who had so much success with Udinese and already here with Milan, and there is the goalkeeper in whom he keeps faith, who will be tested by that man. 4 goals at the weekend for Mark Viduka. A prodigious run since he came back from the Olympic Games, not having scored for Leeds before going home to Sydney for the month. David O'Leary could name only 4 of 5 substitutes in the Premiership on Saturday morning. Tonight he musters 6 of 7, and you've got to say that none of those is a household name. Still there, Paolo Maldini, class personified. Tim Milton-Nielsen is in charge. We'll need no introduction to him. So, deep breath, here we go. 1 point. One single solitary point. Perhaps one of the 2 hijacked by Rivaldo at Ellen Road a fortnight back. Leeds need a draw. David Peat, are they up to it?
Well, I just hope they don't get caught between 2 stools this evening. They mustn't sit too deep and defend on the back foot, because eventually there's a good chance they'll crack. They've got to try and play their normal game, but play it with that little bit of restraint. You're asking a lot of a relatively inexperienced team. All our hopes are with them. It's going to be very fascinating, particularly the first half hour.
So much of the Milanese focus has been on the Brazilian goalkeeper Dida, whose clearance is long, met by Radebe, whose return to the Leeds side is absolutely key. It's been one aspect of David O'Leary's good fortune this season that Radebe's injuries have tended to dovetail with those of Woodgate. When one has been out, the other has tended to be in. And that's Gattuso. This, unmistakably, is Paolo Maldini. Serginho, the Brazilian, is wide of him. Gary Kelly is his opposite man, and this is Viduka. Kelly let it run. Shevchenko couldn't keep it in. Ever present in the Champions League this season for David O'Leary is Gary Kelly. He has at least had both of his full-backs fit throughout, Kelly and Hart, the two Irishmen. 3 of 9 English visitors to AC Milan over the years have achieved a draw. Chelsea were the last in this stadium last year. Dennis Wise's goal, you won't, I'm sure, have forgotten. Equalising a header from Oliver Bierhoff. The others have all lost. Chamot, this is Roca Jr. Bottini in front of him. On by D'accord. Forward by Hart. Taken by Smith. Maldini ran him off the ball. Gattuso and then Roca Jr. forward. This is one for Bierhoff to chase with Mills going back. And Bierhoff has got the better of Mills, who tumbled. Radovi was across the cover and Robinson to gather.
Well, for the briefest of seconds there, you thought that Bierhoff had got lucky. When the court got robbed, it was a ball hoisted through, and Mills just lost his footing.
Chamot's clearance up into the air. Zaccaroni there, who is being touted in some parts of the Italian press as a possible successor to Sven-Göran Eriksson at Lazio. Chamot with the free kick. Mills rising again with Bierhoff, who again wins in that confrontation. Shevchenko running at Mills, and Hart to safety. Maldini on halfway. This is Serginho.
Milan playing with 3 defenders, basically. Chamot, the Brazilian, Roca Jr. and Maldini, who everyone is familiar with, I'm sure, in England. And quite aggressively up front with Leonardo just dropping off Bierhoff and Shevchenko.
Gary Kelly for Leeds, seeking out Viduka, all the way through to Dida. Of course, had problems with his passport, which came to light after the Leeds game. His Brazilian passport's fine, the Portuguese one is just a little bit suspect. Forward by Roca Jr. Aimed at Leonardo. Let go by Hart, and Shevchenko hadn't given up the chase. Or indeed Helve, the Danish full-back.
Yeah, there was talk, of course, that Dida, poor chap involved at Leeds, let that passport slip through his fingers. Milan wouldn't have been too happy.
Peter Ridsdale, and this is a true story, Peter Ridsdale was asked by one journalist who clearly doesn't follow football whether he'd like to have the game replayed. Roca Jr. with the header away. Bierhoff up. Leonardo helped it on its way. Bowyer tackling back. Mills up into the air. Leeds still really settling. Viduka won the header though. Smith ran into Gattuso. Bowyer wanted to win it back. He won't stop running. You can be absolutely assured of that. Serginho bringing it clear and getting away from Bowyer's tackle with Shevchenko in front of him. Bierhoff through the middle. He's got clear of Bacca. This is still Serginho, and Lucas Radovi stood up tall and strong and authoritative, the defender that he is.
That's a good break by Serginho. This is the man that's been displaced by Silvinho, the Arsenal fullback in the Brazilian plans.
And this is Shevchenko. Helve. Helve's cross, Shevchenko slipped, Mills was there before him anyway. In again by Chamot. Here's Serginho's run. Remember that Silvinho, to whom David Pleat refers there, scored a wonderful goal breaking into the box from a similar angle right back on match day 1 for Arsenal in Prague. They've both got Roberto Carlos to compete with for the left-back slot, internationally speaking, of course.
Well, Roca Jr. is a good 6'3", 6'4". The goalkeeper's 6'5". Should be very strong when the ball's in the air. Viduka's just 1-1 against Roca Jr.
D'accord, then Bowyer. Viduka was coming back from offside. Maldini's free kick. In towards Leonardo. That'll be a cross.
Reasonably comfortable beginning for Leeds. David O'Leary will be happy the longer the game goes, of course, and the game is kept tight. Won't be easy to create clear chances on this pitch, I have to say. It looks a little bit bumpy. It's had a drying wind. They've had a lot of rain in Italy a few weeks before we have suffered those torrential storms in England.
Dacour twisting. Chamot building the ball against Dacour and then getting a lucky break. And picking out Leonardo, who has Shevchenko going one way, Bierhoff the other, support from Gattuso, Serginho wide, and Gattuso has picked him out. Here is Serginho. It's a poor delivery from the Brazilian, gratefully gathered by Paul Robinson at the near post, whose distribution is fast and accurate. Smith for Viduka. Not canny enough to find a way around Maldini. Few have been over the years. Kelly was dug out of an embarrassment by Radaby. Bacca couldn't get it forward. There seems very little doubt to me, David, that these Milanese players are playing for all they're worth.
Certainly Milan have started quite aggressively and closing down quickly too. They realise, of course, that the pitch will really test people's control, and if they're getting close and if they're getting tight on the players' first touch of Milan, or vice versa, then you're really going to see the people that have got that great ability to play under any conditions.
But if anyone was tuning in expecting something sterile and a bit of a non-match, then the first few minutes would indicate that their expectations gladly haven't been met. Albertini lifts it forward. Mills got it with the header. Bacca. Dacour. There's a great cry around the stadium. And the reason is they've just been told that Panathinaikos have taken the lead against their great rivals Juventus. Olympiacos, of course, went out last night of the Champions League. There was the prospect of two great teams in the last 16. Dida's huge clearance. Bierhoff couldn't get onto it. Hart perilously across the face of the penalty area. Neither Radaby nor Kelly could really complete the clearance comfortably, but Bowyer was calm enough in nodding it back.
Just a little bit of nervousness there when the ball was being pinged around in the air. So important that there you see Radaby and then Kelly uncertain with his touch. So important tonight that Paul Robinson continues the superb, mature form that he's shown on his introduction into the Premier Division and, of course, the Champions League.
Vida heftily forward towards Viduka. Gattuso snapping in front of Alan Smith. Maldini for Serginho. Kelly's come to close him down. Serginho is smart on the ball there. Runs away from Kelly and runs at Bowyer. He's got between the pair of them. That's brilliant by Serginho, and Kelly pulled him back and will at best get away with a ticking off from Kim Milton-Nielsen. This guy looks smart.
I'm told that last year he absolutely destroyed Chelsea down the left-hand side. I think it was Petrescu who was trying to contain him at that time, and he didn't have a very good evening. But Serginho looks as though he's got that, almost, I should say, typical Brazilian feeling for the ball and wanting to run with it and go at people.
Lifted in by Albertini dangerously and with pace. Flashed across goal. Shevchenko unable to apply a touch. 7 European goals this season already for him. He's scored in 9 out of 12 competitive games for Milan this year so far.
Well, I don't think he was aiming for goal. I think he was aiming and hoping that a colleague would get the nearest of touches, and probably the ball was just a little bit too fierce.
They're one of 2 Danish fullbacks who featured prominently in the Champions League this year. Jan Heitzer, of course, at Eindhoven, keeps on going and going for them. Here's Maldini, though, for AC Milan. Struck the ball against Bacca.
It was a good run there by Bierhoff across the face of the box. That was Maldini's intention.
Shevchenko now from deep. Straight at Radovic. He's given it away to Serginho. You don't want to be doing that. Albertini. Art emerging. Backup. Kelly. Bowyer. Jorginho running into the constant irritant that will be Alan Smith, and Maldini going in less than cultured fashion.
I think we can credit Smith there for getting up quickly and not making a meal of that challenge. Here we see the challenge. It looked as though it was going into touch. And Smith makes a little... It was certainly a lunge by Maldini. Had that been at Ellen Road, the crowd wouldn't have been very happy.
Bowyer's free kick. Albertini doing the covering job. Preparing to thrust it in for Viduka, off Gattuso, behind for a corner, and news from the Nou Camp. Key news in this group, and not great news from Leeds' point of view, though hardly unexpected. It's Barcelona 1, Besiktas 0. Leeds need their point, or so it seems. Smith in there for the corner, Bowyer to deliver. Mills dashing to the near post as well. Bowyer's ball is deep towards Bacca. It's come out for Radovic, faced by Albertini, and as a result hurrying his ball back into the danger zone.
Well, a difficult ball to attempt, actually, a volley with his left foot on the half turn, and Dida had no problems catching that, but the defence had already cleared their ground.
Radovic's header away came to Gattuso, who's kept on going and has played it forward for Leonardo. His shot was charged down. Dacour tidies up in front of the penalty area, and Hart could come clear. Long for Smith, who is onside. Smith's cross against Roca Jr. It's another Leeds corner.
Super run by Smith. Melandu push forward down the channels. The space to exploit is the space into the corners, and if Smith's a willing runner, whether Viduka can sustain those runs is another matter. But vital that Smith does. That was an excellent run and a well-deserved corner.
Bowyer again. Massio's gone to the near post. It's aimed at the back post at Bacca, and stabbed away in rather panicky fashion from the Norwegian for another Leeds corner kick. Eric Bacca's goal record in cup competitions is splendid. He scored many more than half of his tally last season in knockout football, and that essentially is what we have here this evening. Bowyer, deep again. Bacca headed that against the back of Alan Smith, rather unfortunately, and Shevchenko brought it clear. Leonardo is screaming for it in the middle. Maldini plays a simpler square ball for Bierhoff. Albertini. Serginho. Serginho to play it in. Radovic out. Bowyer tidying, and Dacour clear. Duca bumped off it by Chamot, who is penalised. Slotting into Maldini's left-sided defensive role while the skipper was upfield. Warming up, had to come on for Jonathan Woodgate very early on Saturday morning against Liverpool. Matteo, far side of the penalty area for Kelly's free kick. Smith flicking it on, all the way through for Viduka.
Well, early signs are that Leeds are not sitting back, just as David O'Leary wanted them to do, to play as normally as possible. Already forced 3 corners. They've already been in the Milan half every bit as much as the Italians have moved into the Leeds defence.
Helve has been very, very close to carrying that ball over the touchline, but no throw-in was given. Dida here important to be judged on the error he made in Ellen Road. He has got 41 caps for Brazil. He's a penalty saving specialist as well, as a reputation. Paul Cooper's a couple of decades ago. Here's Leonardo. Shevchenko. Faced by Kelly. Turn back for Leonardo to strike. It could still come to Shevchenko. Radaby got enough on it, and Baka had his wits about him.
Well, that was a dangerous moment. Shevchenko with the ball at his feet inside the box, but good calm defending by Leeds.
Matteo's throw for Leeds. Smith turning. Rocket Jr. in hard at his back, and Smith has done well to emerge with the ball. When he went to earth again, the referee was offering him no protection. He hasn't actually scored in the Champions League proper yet, Alan Smith, though he got those two priceless goals, one home, one away, against 1860 Munich in the qualifying round. Here's Maldini. Shevchenko, first touch, not so smart. Junior in at the back of Smith. The referee's assistant was within 4 or 5 yards. Gave the feisty young Yorkshireman the benefit of the doubt.
Smith started very well, inducing 1 or 2 fouls, running the channels, looking for the ball into his feet. Leeds just must watch the left-hand side of the Milan defence. Serginho bursting forward, and Maldini, the third central defender, looking to use the space that Serginho leaves.
Kelly to drift in the free kick. Duca to lead. D'accord going in there. For Gattuso. Off again, imparting pressure on Mills. But the referee has actually long since blown the whistle. Plenty, myself included, who hadn't heard or seen his indications. News that David O'Leary won't appreciate from the Nou Camp. It's becoming clearer cut as the moments go by. In the Nou Camp, it is now Barcelona 2, Besiktas 0. Barcelona will win. By Dida. Bowyer, Smith. Want the Argentine going back. We all know all about Mr. Nilsson, the referee, having been involved in the famous England-Argentina Saint-Etienne drama. He was one of the defenders wrong-footed by Michael Owen that night. Martin for Smith. Trying to do a bit of wrong-footing of his own. The junior had hold of him, and Leeds have a free kick in a position not dissimilar from the one which enabled Bowyer to dispatch his goal against Dutroux and Barcelona a couple of weeks back. And it is Lee Bowyer over the set piece again. In by Bowyer. A catch by Dida under a certain amount of pressure.
Well, he is head and shoulders in height above everyone. Mark Viduka at 6'3", and Radaby probably the tallest of the Leeds players. But once again, the free kick brought about by good shielding of the ball by young Smith against the Brazilian, Roca Jr., who I think started rather sketchily.
Gattuso, Leonardo, Shevchenko ahead of him. It's Andrei Shevchenko for Milan. It came last off Radaby. It's behind for a corner. He only needs a glimpse. He is in hot form.
Yeah, that's a good point, Peter. You know, he's aware of where the goals are, but he gets it in early.
Corner taken early as well. Albertini. Shevchenko. Leeds just got bodies in the way, and necessarily so. Roca Jr. Chamot. Helvig. A lot of space for Shevchenko.
Yeah, Radaby didn't come with him, allowed him to come and collect that ball.
Maldini wide, Serginho popping infield through the inside left channel, and Shevchenko getting the pass wrong. 14 caps now for Paolo Maldini, a record. Italy, captain of club and country since the Senor Baresi gave it all in. But to breed them here. Not by Chamot. His return gives Leeds a certain solidity which sometimes they've missed in recent weeks. For all their wholehearted bravery. Here's Hart. Hart lifting it in. To pull it close to the goalkeeper.
Now, one of the few times in the early stages that Leeds have got down their left. It's a good switch ball. Matteo particularly hasn't had hardly a touch of the ball in this game so far.
Over back heel for Helve. Matteo was strong enough. From Leonardo. Matteo, his 12th game in a Leeds shirt, and it would have been a game of personal significance against Liverpool on Saturday. And of course, we let him go to Leeds. Smith. Viduka. Thought he kept it in. Be prepared to say that he might have a bit of a case. Goal kick given. It's inconclusive, but seems to me to have been a hairline decision that the referee's assistant made, based on not too much evidence. Mills. Matthew. Hart. By Chamot. And again by Ian Hart. Here's Olivier Dacour. Caught in possession by Gattuso. Watson, a terribly tight cul-de-sac there, and there wasn't even enough space for a three-point turn. Albertini's taken the throw in quickly. Bierhoff's onto it. Oh, the back header by Hart was not his best idea.
Well, it would have been a brilliant reaction from Bierhoff if that ball would have spiralled over Robinson. But it came after a little bit of edgy play on the left. Hart conceding a throw-in after clever shielding by Leonardo on that side. Here we see the header go back.
That would have been a lovely finish. Which wouldn't have consoled Ian Hart too much. Like those that are the reason why nights like this feel so nervy, so exciting, so potentially frightening. Who dares make a mistake? Viduka, Hart, Backer, and again Hart. The flag is up. Of course, AC Milan in a much more relaxed position than they were a year ago. Partly as a result of Chelsea's 1-1 draw here, they found themselves going into match day 6, playing for a place in the UEFA Cup and failing even to achieve that. They finished bottom of their first phase group then, which was simply unacceptable. Here's Albertini for them now. Right by Leonardo. Serginho. And back from Bierhoff, and Serginho again, and Kenny challenged, it was hands, it's a penalty. Gary Kelly's view is that it was ball to hand, but Kim Milton-Nielsen will take no note of his protestations.
Well, he was so close, he was terribly, terribly unlucky, but Kim Nielsen made a point that he raised that left elbow, and when the ball struck his hand, it was his right hand actually. Tremendously disappointing for Leeds to concede a penalty after such a solid opening start.
Shevchenko, he's hit the post! And that piece of wood may be of golden worth to Leeds United. A miss of inestimable potential value by Andrei Shevchenko of all people.
Well, I don't think there was anyone that would argue that the penalty decision was harsh. And was justice done. Robinson going the wrong way, sprung off his line. Another 6 inches, and Leeds would be really up against it. That will give them more heart.
Smith. Bowyer. Tails up now for Leeds. They've had a lucky break. Kelly, he more than any. Bowyer.
The build-up that led to the penalty should not disguise the quality of that Milan play. It was very good play with Leonardo, eventually that puts Serginho in, and Albertini, I think, was involved in the move too.
Kelly. Serginho's a wonderful player, it seems to me. He and Silvino must be amongst the most exciting attacking players in the Champions League this year. Kelly's throw. Viduka. Backer tackled by Maldini. Shevchenko, his pride will be hurt. Trying to shuffle it for Leonardo, but Hart was aware of the danger. Here's Dominic Matthieu. Taken all Helve, and he's beaten Helve, but he won't beat Chamot.
Well, poor defending by Chamot. He could have got the ball out.
Dacron, Hart. Towards Smith, out by Maldini. Taken by Bakker. Matthieu. Viduka. Chased out of the danger area by Albertini, who then maintained the position, shuffled on for Bierhoff. Albertini again, through the channel for Leonardo, hit the Brazilian's back, and Mills was able to retreat and clear.
Lively start by Leonardo.
Kelly. Smith struck his hand as well, blindside of the referee. His assistant didn't indicate anything.
Well, Smith's annoyed, but he's an irritant, and David O'Leary will be pleased with the work that he's doing.
He will love the thought that he is face-to-face here, shoulder-to-shoulder, tackle for tackle with Paolo Maldini, one of the world's great defenders.
Yes, he appears a very confident boy, does Smith. It was interesting to see David O'Leary. He kept them out with Eddie Gray for at least 45 minutes. They were out at 8 o'clock. Good 40 minutes before they returned to the dressing room to come out quickly for the kick-off. Probably getting the young players used to the atmosphere here in this majestic stadium.
Radovic. Albertini. Caught in possession by Viduka. Nastily bouncing ball for Albertini. One back by Gattuso. Here's Serginho. He'll be stepping in front of Shevchenko. There's a little bit of space for Bowyer, though Serginho is quickly closing it down. Bowyer might have got a bobble to excuse him for the miscued ball into the box. Plenty of bobbles to be had on this field.
Well, I think Mr. Nielsen's quick to his whistle at times. I saw little wrong with Danny Mills' effort there to clear that ball.
Oh, dear me. Bierhoff got down on his knees to say his prayers.
Well, they weren't answered when they got the penalty.
But perhaps they will be now. Albertini over the free kick. Shevchenko, keener than anyone surely to have a crack, is over the free kick too, and Serginho is the left-footed option.
Too straight, I would suggest. Need a little bit of an angle on this one. Unless your name's Beckham, perhaps.
Well, there are a couple here in a similar class. It's Albertini. That's a good catch. Good catch beneath the bar. A less brave man might have wanted to turn that over.
Yes, came from a good distance. It was a safe catch. It was a confident catch.
I just think that at the age of 21, with 60,000 people watching me in the San Siro, having played 10 or so first-team games, my nerve might not have held. I said have a corner, chaps, but Paul Robinson has shown terrific maturity throughout.
So much so that the Leeds supporters were chanting before the game, England's number 2. I suppose they mean Martin's is number 1. Anyway, Mr. Eriksson will soon find out who the best goalkeepers are.
And there is maybe his successor at Lazio, maybe not. Zaccheroni had fantastic success with Udinese, whose manager now is doing fantastically well also. They're top of Serie A after 5 games. Milan in the bottom half of that table, and defending a Leeds corner here, forward for which is Viduka. Bowyer to swing it in. Massio attempted to get his header in, but it rebounded off his own man, who was Smith. And the clearances are chased out by Serginho with great pace.
Great pressuring, using his pace to force a throw-in.
Kelly, the right full-back, was covering very, very well. Polar opposite side of the pitch. Pulled too hurriedly by Bowyer.
Loose ball by Bowyer. Dacourt asking him for the squarer ball to give them a little bit more time to set up the attack.
Gattuso. Against Dacourt, hit his hand. Maldini took the free kick quickly. Shevchenko's onto it. Now to be covering. Doing well. He's not put a foot wrong yet. The chief, as they call him. 40 minutes at Tranmere in the League Cup last week, but otherwise no first-team action at all since going head-to-head with Les Ferdinand at the end of September. So it was at the start of the Champions League that he had another head wound in Barcelona, Lucas Radebe. He's going to run on Anadin in the Radebe household this year. Smith's a headache for any defender, and this time it was Roca Jr. for whom he was posing problems. Shot in the back of Alan Smith, and a word for Roca Jr. He's having a frustrating evening. He feels his shirt was being tugged. Who has conceded a free kick here in a position of some potential to Leeds. Ian Hart's left foot in these kind of areas is a fair old weapon to have. He has whip, he has pace.
And he's moved the ball 1 yard, and it could be a vital yard.
Here's Ian Hart. Dida hung on well. He knew what he was going to do, Ian Hart. There was very little secret. Bounced nastily in front of the keeper, who retained possession neatly and found Shevchenko, who has Gattuso with him. This is Gattuso.
Well, final ball again, disappointing. We've seen that already tonight on several occasions. A little bobble, a nasty lie, and the ball can fly away. But Hart did well on that free kick. Well, Mr. Nielsen was looking away. He just moved the ball a little bit infield, got a better angle, but Dida coped with it quite well.
Maldini. Ball's getting up high. Backer getting up high, but Gattuso even higher. Dacourt. Bowyer. Viduka. Held off Gattuso. Played in Bowyer, who is onside here for Leeds. Smith far post, Viduka near post. Bowyer hooking it across. And it was behind the byline before Smith reached it.
There's an exceptional effort by Bowyer to get that ball in from that angle. He was running at full pelt to the byline. Smith also got into a good position at the back post. There you see it. It's just drifted behind, and the referee has given the goal kick.
Minutes before half-time in the San Siro Stadium. Leeds still on track. 0-0 will do nice. Awful lot of football to play. Chamot away for Milan. Robinson, for all his heroics, has actually only kept one clean sheet in this little run of 6 and a bit games since Nigel Martin got hurt. So Leeds have had to reshuffle defensively so often.
Chamot again, getting lucky there, winning the throw-in once again, trying to keep the ball in play, which is often a trademark of some of the South American defenders, rather than getting the ball out when the opportunity was there. Difficult to keep in play.
In long for Shevchenko. Radebe got it partially away. Leonardo's onto it. Bierhoff. Gattuso. Albertini. In by Albertini towards Shevchenko. Well read by Gary Kelly.
Excellent covering.
Hart. Viduka. And again Mark Viduka. What a way he bought from Chamot. Gattuso's challenge was a questionable one, but Milton Nielsen overlooked it.
Albertini and Gattuso in midfield are working like crazy and giving Decor and Bakker a real hard time, but they're doing very well, the Leeds pair. They're containing them. This game's drifted on. Leonardo's dropped just a little bit deeper. Decourt's trying to look after him. He's sitting between Albertini, and then he drifts back onto Leonardo when Milan come forward. But so far, Robinson hasn't really had to make anything dramatic to pull Leeds out of the fire. And David O'Leary will be more than happy. More than happy.
Boya. See their handicap here now. Play with one boot. Boya can see the funny side. Incidentally, a point on Lee Bowyer. While Alan Smith does his laces up. He's played every minute of the Champions League so far, and he hasn't been booked, which, for a player of his kind of tackle and temperament, is quite something. Played in by Serginho. Missed out Beerhoff. Leonardo's arriving at the back post, and Robinson was required by Hart to lift the ball out from underneath the crossbar.
It was a nasty ball for Hart to deal with. He decided to go for a little bit of height on his header to give Robinson a chance.
Boya. Viduka through the middle. Smith alongside him there. He's picked out Decor. Oh! What a subtle pass away from being in there, Mark Viduka. Out again by Radaby. He's super keen, though. He's made an error there, Radaby. Came to Leonardo. It's through here for Shevchenko. And Radaby got a vital touch. His error to start with, but his heroic recovery to deny Andrei Shevchenko a clear-sighted goal. The merest sliding touch here.
Yeah, just caught his leg. That's his trademark, Shevchenko. The little deft run, the little shallow run behind the defender, and the early effort at goal. He's got terrific power. Very strong over the first 5 to 10 yards.
And in towards Beerhoff.
Little inquiry there as to who was marking Beerhoff. It looked to me as though Kelly got caught just in front of him. I think it was Bakker, the player behind him. Radaby was picking up the centre-back, Rocker Jr.
And by Viduka, he'll be chased by Smith. Maldini, though, had time and space. Shevchenko, Gattuso, Beerhoff, Albertini. Through again for Andrei Shevchenko. Last off Hart.
Well, that was great centre-forward play. He developed the move in the middle third of the field, and he forced his way forward. It was a terrific ball forward. I think it was Gattuso.
Leonardo over the corner. Towards Shevchenko, who's got it back across goal, up into the air by Radaby. There's Gattuso. Little wobbly spell for Leeds, and there is the chief reason why. Andrei Shevchenko, who, as well as his goals in qualifying, 2 at home, 2 and away against Dinamo Zagreb, has scored 3 in the Champions League proper, a couple against Besiktas here and 1 in Istanbul. Kelly. Boya. Smith. Nice idea. Maldini just about onto it. Viduka giving him a headache or two. Goal-scoring streak at the moment is a bit special as well. 10 in his last 9 games.
Now's the time where David O'Leary might think just a little bit defensively, a few minutes before half-time. maybe sit the core a little bit more, hold Bacca. At the moment they are guarding Gattuso and Albertini.
Junior with the free kick, won by Bierhoff. Got to be again in the right place, right time. Albertini, Serginho, is covering him, but Albertini has it back. Dacor was the tackler then. He is one of the 3 Leeds players who is on 2 yellow cards, incidentally, at the moment, Olivier Dacor. Another one, and he would miss the next European game, whichever competition it happened to be in. Albertini with the free kick. We're out by Hart. Serginho in unaccustomed territory on the far side, the Milan right. Still with a devilish run and a fine strike and a good parry by Robinson. Back in by Maldini. Flags up.
My word, the thunderbolt. Serginho popping up on the right. Here he goes, careering in, evades Dacor, cuts across. Terrific effort. Well parried. Fine save.
This is the sort of thing that Paul Robinson spent the evening dealing with. He was facing Rivaldo in Barcelona. Left-footed drives of that kind of spite. Here's Bacca. Behind Viduka. By Chamon. Ball's header is straight at Shevchenko, who could get up ahead of steam here, but for Dacor's intervention. Now Gattuso. Beyond Leonardo. Up by Hart. Bacca.
Good play, Bacca. Composed.
Kelly, Viduka, away from him by Albertini, down by Shevchenko. Here's Serginho. Bierhoff's made a run and continues to do so. Mills is across, importantly. Bierhoff's still in the danger area. Mills has done the job twice. Out by Kelly. Here's Bowyer. The line for Smith. Further up the line for Viduka, with Roca Jr. at his back. Bowyer was calling for it, darting into the penalty area. Viduka's gone himself and pulled it dangerously towards the near post, at which Smith was competing to good effect to win Leeds a corner.
Strong on the ball, Viduka, twisting, turning. As soon as he made his angle, whipped it across that 6-yard box.
Last minute. They have the lead in the dying seconds of the first half in the San Siro. AC Milan 0, Leeds 1, Dominic Matteo.
Terrific header, found space. Here we see the corner from Bowyer, who has, after good play by Viduka, that forced the corner, and Matteo steals a yard. No one on the line. Dida could not get there. It was a real fast, deft little header.
What a moment for him. What a moment for Leeds, who now have insurance. There'll be 1 extra minute at the end of the first half, and AC Milan have to score twice now, or Leeds will be in the last 16. Smith. Viduka. How will that news have gone down in Barcelona?
Well, whether they made plans for Matteo at the corner, he's not known really for his heading or his aggressive heading. But he certainly stole the march.
Commentators don't like to admit this, David, but I have to admit I had to look twice.
I mean, it really flew in, and it must have gone in inches.
Kelly. Half-time, so far so good, better than that. Leeds, having hung on by the coat of paint on a post, didn't just hang on by the end of a first half in which